show is brought to you by Podguyz Sweat. It's the sweat that you can get for $19.69. It's the sweat that is a compilation of myself, Thomas, and Tony, and it comes in a dirty shot glass, so it's also delicious and nutritious. So drink up, bitches.
No fat value.
I'm pretty sure there's a lot of fat.
I'm pretty sure there's a lot of fat.
Between the three of us, like we all sweat fat. It's like
butter. It's like
butter
margin.
and like butter, margarine, and bacon. It's disgusting.
It's gonna be a new jelly bean flavor.
When they come the fat man sweat.
Straight up sweat. Podguyz Sweat.
Podguyz Sweat.
We'll make our own jelly bean bag.
Well, that's going to jump into a topic a little bit later. But hello, everybody in Facebook Live land. Hello, people who are listening in their streaming devices, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, blah, 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 blah. And welcome to the Podguyz Podcast.
What's up?
As always, I am Tony Kaz.
Will Carey.
Tommy Durden.
Tommy Durden. What's up, everybody? How you doing? What's going on? Everything exciting? We're off the fresh eve of the greatest comedy show that Scranton has seen of all time.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Yeah.
It's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
No disrespect, but that was a hell of a show. I got to wear a suit.
Oh yeah, you look swagtastic.
I don't like
that's
that
a
word.
That is a great word right there.
Weird word.
Yo, that was hot.
I feel like that was real disrespectful.
That was straight up fire.
And here's what I learned about performing in a suit, and I said this on Facebook, is that you sweat an uncomfortable amount. We could have definitely bottled my sweat that night, and like there was like
we did. We're gonna sell it for $19.99.
1969.
1969.
Because that's my favorite.
That's
number.
perfect.
That's also a Happy Meal 69.
Yeah.
Well, never
and
mind.
of course,
let's not go there.
They're gonna make it in Burger King dipping sauce for your onion ring.
Yeah, it was gross. Like at the end of the night, it was just like a symphony of smells that I was just smelling.
It's like a jelly that you just scrape up off the.
It's gross. I was so disgusted at myself at the end of the night. I was like, does anybody else smell this? Like,
I love when Will came up to him and he goes, yo man, he's like, yeah, I'm sweating my coconuts off here. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you are.
You should say that on stage.
He goes, yo, it's like onion rings, straight up onion rings. I'm like, yo, you better use that line up on stage right now. And there he is. He's like, yo, I'm so hot. It smells like onion rings up here.
And everybody was like, yeah, I knew that's what that was.
Yes, that's you, yes. With the microphone hanging and swinging.
Yeah, hanging and swinging.
7-foot onion ring smelling ebony.
Ebony.
Ebony God.
Yeah, I am. Like, I just want to say this now for the people that are listening. Like, for this area, for Scranton, for NEPA, for people that don't know what NEPA is, I am the Beyonce of comedy out here. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh, single ladies.
I'm the Beyonce of hosting comedy shows. I'll say
True.
I'm not the best out here, but
you did great.
for hosting shows out here, I'm the Beyonce.
I'm not tooting your horn, but
Yeah.
there it is, folks. You heard it here.
I feel like you just diddled my ego. Just doing that.
I feel like the Beehive is coming to sting this show. I think you just took a jab at Beyonce.
No, that's
like,
not a jab. No, that's a compliment.
Guy.
That's a compliment, bro.
Beehive just comes stinging in. Oh, the chat room went up to 500 people.
No, bro, I'm
Beyonce?
I'm not cocky.
That's my girl.
I'm not cocky. I'm confident.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
If you're going to be confident in something, you might as well say it. Okay.
For running your first comedy show in the area, technically, right, and hosting it, and getting the venue, and having everything the way it fell out, the lineup and everything, like, you did it the right way. I have to say, and you hosted it, you went up there, you killed it. I mean, it's not easy, man. It's definitely not easy when you're up there,
I know, man.
All right, well, not to toot the comedic horn, but we are on the podcast, and podcast comes first, right?
Yes.
That's the way it is.
Let's cut into our first topic, and the reason why we're actually bottling our own sweat for consumption and use. Belle Delphine. Now, I asked you guys to look it up about the YouTuber sensation Belle Delphine. Mm-hmm. Super hot. She's a cutie.
Such a creepy voice. You said that.
Oh god!
Please stop. Oh my god!
Oh my god! No, she's a beautiful girl. She's a gamer and cosplayer and model something. She models stuff too.
Everybody's a model.
She models off basically bathwater.
Well,
I mean,
for those who haven't looked or watched or seen anything on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, blah, 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 what she did is she actually went around and she was like, oh man, how am I? And this person is going to clear $1 million this year. Which is crazy. Like, automatically crazy.
Which is more than the three of our incomes combined.
You're a YouTube sensation.
For over a lifetime.
Yeah. She's a YouTube sensation that has really swept this all up. And she said, "Oh, I'm going to sell my bathwater to my fans." Now she states in the disclaimer that it is her bathwater and not for human consumption.
Yeah, but that's a challenge.
Yes. Straight up challenge.
A challenge.
These
days it's such a challenge.
Yeah, if it were like pee or vomit or like, whatever. I'm just saying.
It would be worth more than what it is right now.
Worth way more than it was.
If it was vomit.
Yeah. So somebody had come up and said, from a rumor, and I think it's actually it's a false rumor now. It's been proclaimed that she gave herpes to everyone.
I love it.
When he drank.
I love it.
Drank the bathwater. Please, guys, give me your insight.
It started me.
Go ahead. It feels like you're eager for this one.
I think that guy had the STD and just used the bathwater as like a way to be like, "Hey, baby, I got an STD from drinking the bathwater from this lady. I love you and everything, and I'm sorry, but this is how I got it."
That's very possible. I feel, man, this is like a tough one because
it's a tough subject. And you got to think like this is a person who's raking in the dough.
Yeah,
raking in the dough.
Like
for a YouTuber gamer girl, like someone who doesn't
hate
even play well, but they have enough followers because they're cute, and that's their thing. That's her thing.
What could I possibly sell of mine that would
for $1 million? I think we already had this discussion. There's really not a lot I wouldn't do for my I would give Robert Kraft a hand job. I would be that lady in the parlor. I don't care. I would, literally, right? I would put
wear a wig.
Whatever,
whatever it takes.
If you're gonna give me,
you are such a slut. You are such a slut, bro. You are a slut, dude.
I'm not afraid to go to jail for prostitution for $1 million. I'll bury it in the backyard and come out like not Hoffa. Never mind, scratch that.
Jimmy Hoffa was
like
never found.
Like El Chapo.
Yeah.
You are such a whore, dude. What?
For $1 million? Think about it. I don't owe anything on my house. I owe my loans, credit, anything.
But remember what you said, though. If you win that million, if you get $1 million, you're just going to get taxed.
That's why
$1 million.
That's why I'd bury it in the backyard. You can't get blood from a stone. I would eat.
Where are you going to get? You're going to get the money from the bank.
I mean,
it's a straight up $1 million cash. I'm not telling anybody I have $1 million cash.
All right, so what are you willing to do? Okay, so now that we're on this subject, since we move on from bodily fluids, thank God.
Thank God. We're still on Robert Kraft's bodily fluids, but anyway.
Yeah, what would you do? What would you do for $1 million? What would you do? What's the
More importantly, what's the depth of how far would you go for $1 million? I guess is a better question. What's the limit?
I have limitations. If you were talking about this realistically. There's limitations that everybody would do for $1 million. If you kill somebody, would you kill somebody for $1 million?
No.
I couldn't live with that on my conscience.
I couldn't live with that.
I couldn't do it.
As a reality show, if we were on an island and I had to survive, I would do it.
Does this... Is it like a Hunger Games type of situation?
I would get I'm not saying
if you knew going into it that you needed to kill somebody, and you had the option to back out, and you still continued with it, would that be your thing?
Like,
I feel like since Tom is such a whore for $1 million, he would kill somebody regardless.
Yeah.
He'd already be stabbing somebody. Like, where's my million at? Like, bro, it's hypothetical.
I feel. Did you ever see
Yeah, like $1 million
Ghostbusters?
comes right out of the camera, like individual $100
like,
bills,
what?
and he's like,
Yeah, like,
See, like, if
what's
you were-
next? He's cleaning the knife off.
yeah,
Like, who's
like
next?
cleaning it off on his 49er shirt.
Is there another million? Like, I'll stab myself. Like, what?
If I was in the Ghostbusters and I was in Ghostbusters 2, listen, follow me on this. I wouldn't be below having that kid's party for a couple $100. Like, you know how like they show up and they're like,
yeah.
something
yeah.
strange.
Yeah, they're dancing
Yeah,
with the
That would be
proton packs.
me. I don't care. Like, I'm not above that. I'm not above that. You're gonna give me a couple $100 cash pocket?
Look, guys, if you want to sponsor anyone here on the Podguyz Podcast, Tom Durden's going to whore himself out.
Yes.
Sure,
Yeah.
right here. Your
Now-
picture.
Yeah.
Your picture
Go
right
ahead,
here.
Will. What are you willing
Whatever
to
you-
do?
We're willing to put on shirts for your company, for your business, blah, blah, blah. Let us know.
Can
And,
I say what I'm willing to do?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Please,
so you're
please.
saying killing. Killing would probably
No,
be
no,
your
well,
limit.
that's my limit, yeah. I mean, I don't think I could extend past that. Anything weirdly sexual,
like having
I'd have to
Kelly
draw a
pee
limit.
on you.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like if you're having someone poop in your mouth, you know, where do you draw the line?
I'd be a
And that's what we're trying to find out here.
He just says I would be a millionaire.
He'd be gargling.
Like, oh man, Tom. You're like, what? I would be a millionaire. What the?
I ain't going back to low income housing with the fixed heat. I ain't going back. You're just Will Smith in that movie. I ain't going back.
Oh yeah.
I ain't going back.
True.
What's his name? From Life, one of the best movies, most underrated movies ever. Part two of my killing spree about to start right here. When they ask about the cornbread, you ain't getting my cornbread.
You ain't getting my cornbread.
Part 2 about to start right here.
All right, what I'm willing to do, okay, so like if Oprah was like, "Hey, you have to do like."
Why does it gotta be Oprah?
It has to
me.
be Oprah.
Oprah-
No other person I would do this for. If Oprah was like, "Hey,
Elon Musk, like nobody
nobody else."
else.
All right,
Maybe
hold on.
Beyonce.
Beyonce. Okay,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
Or Kanye.
Yeah.
or Kanye. No,
Queen Bee.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, though.
I feel as
Maybe
like-
Kanye.
There's like 5 or 6 on the list.
Maybe
Taylor Swift.
Maybe
Yeah.
Kanye, Taylor Swift. Yeah. Miley Cyrus. I mean, I would do sexual things. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would do sexual things to Oprah.
To Miley Cyrus.
To Oprah.
To Oprah. No, Oprah looked like she got that rich good. Like,
Yo, what's-
it's just, I can't believe I've just said it in my head so many times, and this is the first time I've actually said it out loud. Like
That rich
oh,
good.
She got that rich good. You know it's good, bro. It probably smells just like money, but not like dirty money. Like, because we've all touched dirty money, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
disgusting.
Oh yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
you know, it's like this money has had coke sniffed through it.
There's
Like,
more traces of coke on American money than without American money. I don't remember what the percentage is, but I remember like a crazy amount of cash that has
Yeah.
traces of cocaine on it.
Like, have you ever touched new money before? Like, have
Oh,
you
yeah.
ever?
You know
it's so
You
crisp.
You gotta make sure they're not stuck together.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
And that's what I'm gonna do to Oprah's butt.
Oh, man.
Oh no!
And we just
Oh,
lost
no.
some viewers.
All right, so that's all we have time
You're gonna have
for.
to edit that out.
No, but here's another thing, right? And I guess like to end that, right, is there are certain things I probably wouldn't do for $1 million because I think some of the stuff, like some of these challenges, are ridiculous. Like snorting a condom in high school, the challenge was not to use a condom, not to snort it. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't want to use them things. Now people are just like, oh, let me do a line of condoms. Let me.
A line of condoms. That
Yeah.
sounds appetizing.
Yeah, just in through the nose.